Welcome back to the channel, Warhammer Man Studios. I'm Warhammer Man, and today we're taking a look at the newest reveal for the Astra Militarum. Attilan Rough Riders bring horses to a tank fight and win. Do you like going fast? Do you want to plunge into battle? Sat astride a powerful steed, armed with nothing more than a lance, a sidearm, and fur-trimmed hat? Then polish your spurs and book a trip to Attilan. The legendary Rough Riders are back in the saddle with some brand new models. And you can check out the preview video if you like. Rough Riders first appeared way back in White Dwarf number 111 with the planet Attilan, home to the most famous of the far future Cavaliers. Arriving a few years later in the second edition of Warhammer 40,000, they've been on something of a hiatus since 2009. But the wait is over. They're raring to go and ready for horseplay. It takes a ridiculously brave soldier to ride into the horrors of the 41st millennium on horseback, not to mention a ridiculously brave horse. Daring Rough Riders specialize in lightning assaults on enemy weak points and punch far above their weight, thanks to the sheer destructive power of their hunting lances. Alright, so right off the bat, I gotta say, this looks really good. The thing that jumps out to me is the sort of helmet. So obviously they have integrated a helmet into the hat, and it has a sort of chin strap on it. I think because it's new, it's going to take a little time to grow on me. It doesn't look bad. It just looks different. We see, obviously, we saw the rumor engine a while back for these. We saw a clear frag grenade on a lance with the pointy tip. It was very obvious that these were coming. There should also be a melta lance variant for like a little harder hitting. We'll see what the stats and everything look like this. But model-wise, this looks phenomenal. You can even see like a little Imperial brand on the horse's buttocks. The tail is like wrapped up so it doesn't get caught on stuff. He's carrying a bunch of like random equipment and supplies with him. Very, very nice looking model. The horse's armor looks phenomenal. He's got like the sort of like front of its legs armored, and then a big chest plate as well. Cool looking straps. It's like the right amount of eccentric and practical. And then of course it has that awesome face armor. Very, very cool. I mean, this is a great, great looking model right here. And to tell you the truth, you know, the hands have a little bit of fur around the gloves. And obviously these look a little different. But the potential to convert these to deathcore and make them into death riders, if there's not something like that already on the way, it's definitely there. I mean, you could basically probably trim up the little fur off the gloves, maybe putty it up, clean it up a little bit, do a head swap, and you're 90% of the way there. But honestly, these models look great. You need more than just a sharp stick to face Falzinos warbeasts. Fortunately, these lances pack a deadly explosive payload. Employing reckless battlefield techniques refined by the horse masters of Attilan, and hunting lances welded by Rough Riders can deliver your choice of an infantry shredding frag tip or vehicle busting melta tip. Alright, so there we see the melta tip. Very, very cool. We can see the profile picture of the rider as well. I like the binoculars. I mean, really just phenomenal looking models right here. They look great. And we knew they were capable of this because the Adeptus Mechanicus guys on like the little bionic like horse dog things are absolutely phenomenal. So it makes sense that these would look amazing as well. So hunting lance with the frag tip. Obviously melee range, user strength -1, AP, damage 1. Each time an attack is made with this weapon profile, a successful hit scores 2 additional hits. Yeah, that's really good. Because the problem with these is with -1 AP and 1 damage, they're not going to do a lot. Strength user, maybe because they are mounted cavalry, it would be strength 4. Makes sense to me, as your typical like guardsman would be strength 3. So, you know, an extra 2 hits per, theoretically hitting on 3s, probably hitting on 4s. There's definitely some potential here. I mean, the ability to get 3 hits per is pretty good. And then the melta tip is melee +2 strength, -4 AP, 3 damage. So again, somewhere between 5 or 6 strength likely. -4 AP, 3 damage. Very good if you're trying to do a little like outflank maneuver and hit the side of a vehicle or something like that that's not expecting it. Obviously hitting the side or back of the vehicle doesn't matter anymore, but you get the point like thematically. Far from lonesome outriders, Rough Riders are the integral part of the Imperial war machine. The platoon keyword lets them receive orders from Attilan castellans and other officers, while the corps keyword grants access to a wide variety of bonuses. They even pack a las gun each for the rare moments when they're not ramming explosive lances through traitors' faces. So this is an absolutely phenomenal picture right here. We can see basically, you know, like 10 or 11 of these Rough Riders riding to battle. Nice bases kind of disguised into the landscape. They just look great. So many really good poses. Very, very nice. I'm not sure what this weapon is. We see one a little different here. We can see plenty of frag tips. And then we see some of the melta tips as well. But I'm not sure what this one is. Definitely got a different look to it. But really, really nice looking models. A bunch of dynamic poses. So they're not like all repeated over and over again. Very, very happy with these phenomenal models by Games Workshop. Join us next week for another reveal from the Codex Astra Militarum, a big one, and make sure to sign up to the Warhammer Community newsletter. So it says a big one. Every time Games Workshop says a big one, you know, it's either like a box set or a tank. So I'm expecting them to reveal the new tank. We saw some little hints of it on the cover, and basically from what we've heard, it is essentially like a Leman Russ variant or something along those lines. There is another thing mentioned right here that I think is of note. Part of the Imperial War Machine, the platoon keyword lets them receive orders from Attilan castellans. So obviously the Rough Riders are like the Attilan. They were able to be taken in any of the guard armies, but typically because they're not part of, you know, like Attilan or, you know, whatever your platoon would be, you can't get orders from other officers. Now they may have changed, obviously they've changed that right here, but they may have changed that in a lot of ways. I'm curious to see what direction they kind of take this stuff with. I'm a really big fan of all like the faction keywords and then having like sub-factions, etc. But there were a couple of guard units where it's not like you could just take a whole faction of Attilans. So they have to kind of blend in with everything else. So it makes sense to kind of incorporate all their rules in and then have like your core troops and then something special for each. So, you know, if you're going to use like the Death Corps, you know, you get that basically like shoot on death ability, but maybe now it's going to transfer over to other units that are not specifically Death Corps. So we'll have to see, you know, that's just speculation, but I think that's something that would help really flush out the army, as a lot of like the cool specialty units don't fall into the Death Corps or the Acadians or whatever, etc. So we'll see. I'm sure Games Workshop has a plan. We will see where this comes out in comparison to some of the other codexes as far as strength. GW has said specifically that they have been testing like Tyranids, Eldari, and Votann all together. All those codexes were extremely strong. They didn't mention anything about demons or chaos. Both those codexes are obviously very good, but we're not seeing nearly the level of fear as we saw with like Votann and everything, especially considering their range isn't out. So maybe the Astra Militarum were tested against the demons and the chaos, so they'll be good and keep up with them, but they're not going to be overpowered like the little group with the Tyranids, the Eldari, and the Votann, etc. So I'll have to wait and see. Still a lot of speculation. I do absolutely love these models. I think they look phenomenal. I wish we got to see just a little bit more of them, but seeing a bunch of these guys together, they really do look absolutely stellar. Definitely looking forward to these. I absolutely love the look of the cavalry. The actual models look phenomenal, and honestly, I have to say, they're basically perfectly executed. And, you know, little details, like, obviously the base looks super cool, but little details like sandbags and stuff like that really fits into the Astra Militarum range and everything. So, really, really nice. I would say perfectly executed. The only thing that would be just super cool about these and could possibly make them even better, in my opinion, and what I was hoping for way back when we saw that rumor engine picture, was that there would be an alternate kit, like basically some different heads, and I guess maybe some gloves or something like that. Different armor, just something that could slightly change these to where they could basically be Death Riders of Krieg as well. That does not appear to be the case. There's still a chance for it. There's still a chance for Death Riders. I don't want to rule it out. But it looks like they rained on my parade here a little bit. But, you know, not to take away from it, these look great. So let me know what you think down below. If you did enjoy this video, if you're into daily reactions, reviews, and news, painting, modeling, conversion tutorials for Warhammer 40,000, Kill Team, Necromunda, Age of Sigmar, Warcry, and some Horus Heresy, make sure to like and subscribe. for those daily videos. It's absolutely free, really helps out the channel, and you know, I personally appreciate it. So that's it for today. Warhammer Man Studios. I'm Warhammer Man, and man, are these things awesome, and I'm out of here.